Hello everybody, my name is Patrick, and today we're going to be talking about something a bit different on this channel. We're going to be talking about response videos, and specifically two YouTubers who semi-recently came out with them. Now, one is Projared, who recently just dropped his response to all of the accusations against him being a pedophile and sending dick pics to minors and all that stuff. And the other is Darksydephil, a Twitch streamer who was formerly a YouTuber, who recently did a debunking stream talking about all of his controversies over a roughly 10-year span. Now, the reason these two content creators are sort of intertwined is because what caused DSP's response video was he jumped on the hate bandwagon of Projared while all those allegations were still circulating and actually received some positive feedback. And he thought that this created a big resurgence for his channel and decided to do a debunking stream, hoping it would curb any of his new viewership into becoming detractors. And since Projared just the other day dropped his response, I felt it was sort of the perfect example of two polar opposites of how you should perform a debunk video versus how you shouldn't. I will be linking both videos down in the descriptions so that you may check them both out and make your own comparisons, but today we'll be going over my opinions on the subject. We'll start with Projared, since his was the much more coherent and easier to talk about than the two. Now, in Projared's video, he spoke very calmly, very directly, and only spoke in facts. He spoke very little on speculation. He had plenty of receipts, aka screenshotted conversations, to prove his point. He had timestamps in those receipts to show when they took place. Long story short, he just had evidence to back up why the allegations against him were false. DSP, on the other hand, offered no proof to anything that he said. Literally, him setting the story straight was just him saying, hey, take my word for it. And I mean, I get it. You're trying to debunk 10 years of shit in one video, but when you don't have any evidence to back it up, and in fact, when there's plenty of evidence proving to the contrary of what you're stating, it just makes you come off as a liar. And so we're actually going to get into the claims and how DSP responded to them. The first thing that he brought up was racist jokes. Oh, DSP, you made all these racist jokes. You said the N-word. You said a bunch of anti-Semitic shit. How do you respond to this? And his response was, well, Howard Stern did it, and I just stole his jokes. I don't even know where to begin with that defense. That's just awful. Also, something he likes to continuously say is, oh, the old DSP used to make racist jokes. I don't anymore. But if you were to look at his most recent Life is Strange 2 stream, the first black guy that comes on screen, he puts on a racist black guy voice and jokes about selling him crack. I thought only the old DSP made racist jokes. The next thing that he addressed was actually pretty similar to the Projared situation, and that was his ex-girlfriend Panda Lee was underage when he first got into contact and started dating her. And this is how you don't disprove that theory. You just say it's a lie, and then offer no evidence to back up that it's a lie. You know, he has those old messages between him and his ex-girlfriend, and I'm sure they're time-stamped, because all phones and messaging apps and text messages are time-stamped these days, so he could very easily go back, show exactly when they started talking, the year, the date, and then line that up with his ex-girlfriend's birthday to prove that they didn't start getting into contact with each other until after she had already turned 18. And I think it's been a while since I've seen that video, but I'm pretty sure he says that the reason he didn't show those snippets is because he didn't want to dox any information. It wouldn't really be doxing if you just showed them being hi. You know what I mean? What's up? Just the very first initial engagement with timestamped. You could very easily show that, and he didn't. The next thing that he talked about was the situation where his ex-girlfriend went to the hospital and he went to visit her and he just complained about everything under the sun, as well as share that information without consulting his ex-girlfriend first. Now, once again, the only evidence that he supplied was him saying, well, that's a lie. She gave me permission. The next thing that he addressed was Project 7, because there was a big controversy around him being the only one who made money off of this internet web series that him and his friend created. Now, he claims that everyone else who worked on the set didn't want money. They only wanted exposure. But literally, the entire rest of the cast and crew disputes that claim. So when it's like 5 people saying that something happened, and you're the only one saying that it didn't happen that way, kind of makes you look like a liar. And the thing is that these people say that they didn't get any of the money from Project 7 have really no reason to lie about it. But DSP does have a reason to lie because it makes him look bad because he didn't pay his friends. Then there was the issue of DSP making money off of his dead friends. And his reasoning was completely asinine. It was that, oh, well, the news reports on people's deaths all the time. You're not the fucking news, DSP! The next thing was him grooming 2 fangirls in exchange for sex and money. He was like, oh, I don't even know what this one's talking about. It's referring to your public ex-girlfriend and girlfriend. You admitted that both of them found you through YouTube, became your fans, you started messaging them, and then started dating. That can be considered a form of grooming since they were your fans to begin with. They wanted to get into contact you and would do anything to please you, and then you just happen to wind up dating both of them. That can be considered a form of grooming. Then there was him threatening to beat up an 11-year-old. He just made the same claim like, oh, I just said that his parents should discipline him or something along those lines. If you literally were to go back and watch the clip, he mutes his mic and then looks straight in the camera and says, if that kid talked to me like that in real life, I'd beat the shit out of him. Tell me, how does that carry into discipline if you were his parent, DSP? The next thing he went over was the Project 7 reboot, where he changed history on it, saying that, oh, the Patreon goal wasn't for me to remake the series, which it was. They're screen caps of it. It was for me to make a trailer of the series. Okay, well, either way, we still don't have the trailer. So you still stole the money. I don't get why this is somehow a more justifiable defense. You change the history for no reason and then say, oh, well, it's still... Long story short, you still got paid and it still didn't get made. The next thing he talked about was his taxes, which I'm not going to go into. The tax video could be a thing all on its own. There was so much involved with him, begging for money for his taxes and then, you know what I mean. But long story short, he would beg money for taxes. Oh, I need to pay my bills. I need money for my taxes. And then he would get a shit ton of money. And then some big thing that normally would cost a lot of money would happen. But then he wouldn't need any more money for his taxes. Like, he got married, he moved a girl across the country, things like that. Things that definitely cost, like, multiple thousands of dollars, happen to just happen to coincide with when he needs his tax money. Again, he offered no proof or anything saying, but he just said, no, I really did need that money for my taxes. It's a lie that I spent it on anything else. Again, offering no proof. Then the final big thing that he talked about was his big incident. And I'm sure it's what most of you know DSP for, and it's also what he talked about in his Projared tweets, and that's masturbating live on stream. His excuse was that he was depressed, and, I understand that. When I'm depressed, I get horny as well. And that his girlfriend of the time, Panda Lee, his ex, wasn't having sex with him at the time. And I just don't know what to say to that. That's not a justification. So yeah, as we can see between the two videos, Projared, he would always say, this is what the allegation was against me. Here's the receipts with the timestamps proving that I did not do these things, or there just flat out is no evidence of these things to be proven, so it's all hearsay and conjecture. Whereas, on the other hand, you have DSP, where there is clear proof of what actually happened. There is video recorded evidence, so on and so forth. And then he just says, well, it didn't happen. And on things where he could even provide evidence, such as him proving that he didn't get into contact with his ex-girlfriend until she was of age, he omitted proof. Well, guys, this was a video for me. I know this isn't my usual content, but this is a situation I just felt like covering because I found it interesting personally. Let me know what you guys think about these things down in the comments. I'm Patrick, and I'll see you next time.